Now pay attention, because I'm going to teach you something that no one is teaching you. Number one is this. You have been conditioned, or you've been taught that trusting yourself requires an emotional, a logical, a structural, analytical, three-dimensional view of life, people, problems, situations. That's what you have been taught. You've been taught it in school. You've been taught it watching your parents. You've been taught it on church, religion. They all show you trust yourself. But I'm here to tell you right now that that is 100% the wrong way. And everything that you learned from you're a kid, you might as well go ahead and rewrite it all, because everything they taught you was backwards and wrong. How do I know this? Because I was the same person in your shoes until I discovered how this stuff really works, man. You have what's called awareness, right? Your awareness is, I can look, I can see, I can smell, I can taste. You can't trust that. That's like 1% of what's really happening. Now let me show you what true trust is. Trust is going into the next layer, which is inner standing. You see, you got outer standing, which is logical, structural mind. Inner standing hope opens up a new world for you. See, when you can understand, that's called trusting yourself. Mark, how do I get to understand, man? How do I do that stuff? Well, let me show you how you do the understand. First, you got to understand the concept of the outer stand, the mind, and for you to get into the inner stand. So, when you were a kid, you were born. Your mother gave you a name. That's fake. The 3D matrix, your government reality gave you an age. That's also fake. They gave you a concept of time that is also fake. There is no past and there is no future. There is only now. They gave you the weeks of the days. That is fake. There is no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There is no January, February, March. They gave you a birthday was fake. Okay, what else they gave you? Now you develop personalities. Fake. They gave you a religion. Fake. Because here's the thing about understanding. When you understand something, a whole world opens up within this world. Let me put it to you this way. Right now, there are two realities or two worlds that are interlocked, that are entangled, that exist right now in the same space and same time. So the first world is what you see around you every day. It's your 3D world. It's your world of problems and trying to figure stuff out and use your logic mind. And that's what they tell you, to trust yourself. That's the world you live in. The next world is the inner stand world. When you plug into that world now shows you patterns. It shows you synchronicities. It shows you things in dreams. It talks to you with a voice. A literal voice will talk to you. It talks to you with the outer voice. You hear like a little voice. You'll hear, your body will alert you. You may get ringing in your ears. Your eyes may start to twitch. Your fingers may start to tingle. Your body now is communicating to you and telling you that, hey, I'm picking up some new sensory input that is not in this world. It's from another world. But you will put it off as, oh, that's my nerves. Because you don't understand that the inner self is communicating with you to help you to cheat code the world. You got to understand what I'm talking about, though. You got to understand that who you are, you have to let that go, though. So you can't get inside if you don't understand that you're fake. Now you know that. That's how you're going to get into the inner stand. Because if you don't know that, you cannot get to understand and to get to trust the real self and to get to this new world, or this world of patterns and synchronicities and signs that will help you to like ace this game. Okay? So you got to get that first, all right? So you get that, because you cannot get understanding if you don't understand that the outer stand is fake. All right. So there is your unconscious mind. So you have the conscious mind and you have the unconscious mind. People, you call it subconscious, unconscious mind. Okay? We got that. The conscious mind is what lives, is what primarily is your fakeness. Because in your conscious mind, you have an identity of who you think you are. You're like your name. People call you Mark. Oh, you look to Mark. When they say you're 24 or you're 34, okay, you gravitate towards that. There's a self-image. All of that is your conscious mind. Okay? You can understand, you can reason. That's primarily what you use to see the world. Now, let's go into the unconscious mind. Now, remember I said that there are some things that science just can't explain. They have ideas about this, but they can't explain it. So that's what we're going to go into now in the unconscious or the subconscious mind. All right? So we got that. So one of the first things about the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind now is science knows this work, but they can't explain to you how it works. And it's called, one of them is the placebo effect. The placebo effect basically that says that belief changes the biochemical signatures in your body. In other words, a belief can heal you or make you sick. A belief can change everything around you. The cells in your body listens to what's going on in the head. That's called the placebo effect. Science can't explain it. Okay, what else is now in the unconscious mind? The unconscious mind now has what's called your true beliefs. The conscious mind takes some stuff and dumps it in the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind holds those stuff as emotions, like what you feel. All of that stores in the unconscious. Key word, understand, unconscious. You won't be aware of some of these feelings. As a matter of fact, 90% of them you won't be aware of. Hence the word unconscious. But in that part of your consciousness, the next layer is where your true beliefs are stored. Remember now, you have logical, regular beliefs in your regular mind. Okay, that's fine. But the unconscious is the master of everything. So let me show you why the unconscious rules everything else. And that's why you need to get to the unconscious. So it holds, so why is the unconscious mind the secret mind or the layer? Because in the unconscious mind now, remember now, unconscious, you're not aware of it. It has something, it does two things that your conscious mind can't do. It, number one, it controls your habits. It rules your habits. Number two, it dictates your actions. Therefore, how do you create your world? Actions, habits. Everybody, does that make sense to everybody? Repeat it again. The unconscious mind rules actions, habits. So let's go to the surface level. Let's go to the regular thinking mind. How do we create stuff in our world? We have to move. We have to do action. We have to repeat, right? All of us have routines, right? You get up in the morning, you wash your face, you eat your favorite breakfast, you go to work. You take the same route to school, you drive the same route. Those are called actions, routines. Does that make sense? All of that is coming from the unconscious mind. Even though you are aware of it in your conscious mind and you think, listen now, you think that you're the one that's doing this deliberately, or you're just, this is what you do. You're not. It is being driven from the unconscious and it's being funneled to your conscious. So you may believe because you're aware of something that you're in control of it. That's the big mistake we make. Just because you are aware of something does not mean you are in control of it. And a clear example of that is your actions and your habits. So does that mean if you want to get into the cheat code and master the game of life, you're going to have to know the rules and how to master the unconscious mind. Got that? Okay. Not the conscious. With that being said, now we know that there are different dimensions. And within these dimensions, we can't access them because our physical senses haven't developed the sensitivity to tap into them yet. Okay, I'm talking science here, so I'm going to the point that I can prove this to you. We know that through physics, such as light waves. You can't see the full spectrum of light. You only see what's called the visible light spectrum. That's only 1% of true reality. Okay, within one of these dimensions, there exists another part of you called higher self. How do I know this dimension? How do I know this? Well, because it communicates to you, only to you now. It has to use your unconscious mind to get information to you. It can't use your surface mind, your ego mind, because the thing about the ego mind is your conscious mind, it doesn't have that much storage. Your conscious thoughts are pretty limited. You can only do a certain amount per day. Information you can put in your conscious mind is very limited. So because it's outside of this dimension, that means it can come into this dimension. So that means it can master this dimension easily because the laws of physics don't apply to that. That's where the science can't explain that stuff. So some signs of your higher self will be this way to show you that this stuff exists. So have you ever had a dream? Many of you dream. Have you ever had a dream, or a family had a dream and the dream came true? Did you know science can't explain that still? How can you have a dream of something they call the future and it happened the same way? Many of you have. Okay? So what is happening there? These are communication on a quantum level, below cellular level. These are information being processed through electromagnetic energetic stuff. Every information or every answer to anything you ever want or desire is from another dimension. It's downloaded. You download it from what's called superconscious. I call it a superconscious, the mind. People call it mind of God. But the superconscious is a part of the universe structure where all the entirety of information about everything you ever want to know, every idea you ever had or will have, it's all stored there. And everyone can download that stuff. Now, someone asked me earlier, they said, okay, how do I get to my inner self? Well, as I said, there are layers to your consciousness. A couple layers you got to overcome to get there. So the inner self, to get to the inner self, a couple things you have to do. You have to do lifestyle change. You have to change your lifestyle. I repeat that. You have to adopt a new way of thinking and a new lifestyle. That's the only way, because you have to change. You have to take off you have to move from one layer to the next layer, and that involves like brainwave changing. That involves your brain starts to communicate with other cells to change the communication language. And so a couple ways to do that is, number one, you have to practice meditation. Number two, you have to start to get into using your imagination. Number three, you have to start to develop what's called acute awareness. Acute awareness basically means you have to start to have an open mind, and you have to start to change your perception, the way you see things. Okay? Number four, you have to now get into the unconscious to change the program in the unconscious, which is you have to do that through either auto hypnosis, regular hypnosis. You have to do that through what's called your outer talk. Outer talk, not inner talk. It means you gotta speak out loud about yourself. You have to start to use affirmations, or I like to call them question format affirmations, consistently, and that has to become embedded, and that's the only way it can get into the unconscious mind. That's the way, if you want to get into the new that world I'm talking about, that dimension with the patterns and the trippy stuff, and like you can get the lottery numbers, you can get the stock market updates, you can see where the market is going, you can see the trend. If you're a trader, you can be ahead of the market. So how does this stuff work, man? How does the inner self know all the answers, or know like for example, like the lottery numbers. How does the inner self know like where to be at the right place at the right time? How does the inner self know to give you these like numbers and you play them and you win? That's the $1 million question, right? How does the inner self know that? So I'm going to tell you something that may shock you. So the inner self knows all these stuff because all these stuff, they are all happening at the same time right now. The past, the future, and the present are all happening right now. Your birth, your death are happening right now. Let's I know it's bogging your mind right now, like what the guy talking about. Let's go to physics so I can make it easy for you to understand. So since space and time, when they formed all at once. Because they all formed all at once means every possible outcome of your life or possibility is out there within this form. That means at one point in a coordinate is your death. Over here is your birth. So you're all dead, alive, being born at the same time. That's why you're able to get ideas and all this stuff, because they already existed. They're already out there. They're just on a different coordinate. That's how your higher self can get you in the right place at the right time. That's how you can get the winning numbers. You can see the trends before they happen, because they already happened somewhere right now, just in a different coordinate.